Hello, my name is Guy and welcome to this fourth vlog in this series about what it looks like to be a follower of Jesus. And in this vlog, the second one on the same subject, I'm going to be talking about the Sabbath. This old Hebrew word derived from Shabbat, the day in the week, the one day in the week which we devote, which we construct around rest and around joy. Now, whether you're fantastically interested in what God has to say about the whole idea of Sabbath, of the Shabbat, or not, it's great to have you along. Hey, it's 6, 7, 8 minutes of something that's really important to God. So I hope, whoever you are, welcome, and I hope you, as ever, get something of interest and relevance which is helpful to you as you navigate your way through life. So here we are, coming back to the subject of the Sabbath. And if we're able to construct a day around the lines of a Sabbath, a day of rest and a day of joy, it will help us build appreciation for what we have, however little or however much that is. The people around us, the things that we have, the world in which we live in, the environment in which we live, our neighborhood, whatever. It will help us build appreciation and thankfulness for that. Now, here's the thing, that for God, the Sabbath is a big, big deal. And all I can say to you is, if it's a big, big deal to God, then I think it's worth thinking about. Certainly, I've had to learn, wow, what is this going to mean to me? And what's it going to look like to me? Because if you go to the book of Exodus in the Old Testament, it's the second book of the Bible. And if you go to the 20th chapter and just read the first 10, 15 verses, what you will find is this is the moment when God, in wanting to give some guidance, some helpful guidance to his people, his chosen people, the Jewish people, the children of Israel, he chose to give this advice to a guy called Moses. And many of us know about this advice, this guidance he gave, because it's become known to many as the 10 Commandments. Now, I often think the 10 Commandments gives this advice a bit of a bad rap, because commandments sounds like it's rules, it's regulations, and I think it's fair to say that, there have been people that have got quite kind of religious about this. It's about what you don't do and what God's against, and it all gets a bit religious. That's not how it was meant to be. Just imagine, if you've got a son or a daughter or a brother or a sister or a mate or somebody who's going off to uni, or if you're in a job and you're about to move to another job and you're thinking of the person that's coming into the new job, and you think, well, what are the 10 most helpful things I could write down and give them? That would be kind of a cool thing to do, tell them where the canteen is, or what the rhythm of life is like, or about so-and-so in accounts, or so-and-so in the creative department, or whatever. It's helpful for them to know something about your role so they can just slip into it and make a success of it. Well, here's God giving his people the 10 most important things he can think of to help them lead prosperous, successful, fulfilled, meaningful lives. And what's one of the things he talks to them about? He talks to them about the Sabbath. And if you read those first 10 or 15 verses from the book of Exodus chapter 20, what you'll find out is not only is the Sabbath, this idea of a day of rest and a day of joy in your week, one of the 10 most important things that God wants to pass on. But when he comes to talk about the Sabbath, he doesn't just say, take a day off. He gives like lines and lines of explanations. Some of those guidance, he just says, look, don't kill, don't cheat, But when it comes to the Sabbath, he gives a great big explanation. Go check it out. So this is a big deal to God. So it's a big deal. Now here's the thing. Take your mind back, if you can, to when you were a kid and you just used to do things essentially because they were fun. They might have been pretty pointless, but whether your brother or your sister or your mum and dad or with your mates or some combination of all of that, you used just to do things that were fun or you loved, or maybe you did things on your own. That's fine. But when I think back to those times, I can remember my mates and I going out to find whoever had a garden, and we'd take a rugby ball and we would just create all these moves. We'd pass it through our legs, we'd throw it overhead, we'd catch it, we'd pass it. We'd just see how many moves we could make before somebody dropped the ball or somebody threw it into a space where there wasn't anyone and we'd fail to read the game. But we used to do this for hours and it was essentially pointless. But we loved it. We were in the moment. And it was about friendship. It was about fun. It was about doing something different from the other days in the week. And we loved it. And here I am, 45 years later, and I can still remember it. And I'm telling you about it. We need to rediscover or make sure we put in place things that are just fun, that we are fully invested with others who are family or friends, and it helps recharge us. It gives us a break from the normal things we're thinking about or feeling or decisions we're making, and it just restores us. It restores us. And in the same way, I'm reminded of a young Jewish woman who tells the story about her family who never really practiced as many Jewish families do, the idea of the meal on the Shabbat evening, on a Friday night when their Sabbath would begin, that many families would gather to have a meal together. And her family never really did that. And then her boyfriend invited her to come and join his family for this Shabbat, this Sabbath meal. And so she went, and then she kind of tells the story of how she saw a different tradition and a different way of living out this gift that God has given in the Sabbath. Because for her boyfriend's family, they all committed that they wouldn't go out on the evening of the Shabbat meal, the Sabbath meal. They would all stay together. But here was the thing. They could each invite somebody in, and anybody could come in. A neighbor, a school friend, another member of the family, or the friend of a friend. Anybody could come in and join the meal. But here was the thing. Everybody who came in was asked to bring something. They could bring a candle. They could bring a dessert, a chocolate. They could bring a song. They could bring a story. They could bring a joke. They could bring anything, a game for everyone to play. But they would bring something and share it during the course of the long meal. Do you do long meals? Long meals can be cool. Long meals. And people would, in that family that this Jewish lady talked about, they would laugh, they would joke, they would play games, they would do stuff, they would share, they might even learn. But they were just totally invested in each other and in family. And yes, they would say a prayer and they might worship a bit, but they were totally invested in rest and in fun and in giving the time to each other, and it would bring smiles to their faces, and it was joyful. It was just full of joy. So here's the thing I finish on. There are lots of things in this world that we should be serious about, because there is pain and there is injustice, and these are things we should be serious about. But we do not have to be serious about everything all of the time. And God has given us this gift of the Sabbath, where he said, man was made for the Sabbath, not the Sabbath made for man. This is a gift for us, and it's up to us to take it and make something of it. So there are some stories about the Sabbath, and I leave you with this passing thought, this passing idea. Go create your Sabbath. Go invest in a day and find out what it can look like for you when you rest. But you also rediscover joy in the things you do as well as in the things you don't do. Enjoy the Sabbath. Bye for now.